Nailed it. There's a little Valspar championship down in Florida, round number 1. Keegan Bradley shot a 64 to lead it. We got a lot going on as they're live on the course right now. But let's bring in the nobleman. We've got Seal, who doesn't know how to not have a phone call during a live show or have his kids or wife come in. And we've got the great JB, who was on assignment last week, once again tending to the sheep in New Zealand with that team event that they had on the PGA Tour. But he's back. He's live, and we're feeling good. And let's start with Jamie. We'll get back with our man Seal. Seal, can you answer the phone? Why did you let it ring 7 times?
Yeah, that wasn't my phone.
Whose phone was that? It's not my phone. It's not JB's phone.
I don't have an iPhone.
All right, it wasn't an iPhone. All right, Seal, we'll get back with you in just a minute. We love you. Welcome into the Sports Edge, powered by Inspin.com. I mentioned we have our man Seal and JB here today. I'm Dan Leach, the Squatch. And JB, let's start with this, kind of an interesting Valspar championship, the start of the second Florida swing of the year. And I know you were on 3 different guys. Eric Van Rooyen from South Africa didn't have the kind of tournament you wanted him to. Corey Connors is still out there fighting to make the cut. But Abraham Answer, is in the top, 6 right now, and has a chance with a few holes left to maybe tied for the lead. I might have taken him earlier today, 16-1 to be tied for the lead before he teed off. What are your early thoughts on the Valspar? Not the greatest field, but some good value out
there. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, obviously this tournament got affected.
Yeah, this would be a great time to do that, and I'm going to throw up the live scoreboard as we record here. Live on a Friday, and you can see Jamie's website, scratchcaddy.com, and all he's done is pick winners for you for years and years. And Jamie, I wanted to ask you, we take a look here, and Keegan Bradley on the course right now through 11 is -9. You got a bunch of guys, including Homa and Glover, or we had more at 8 under, and now you've got him and Schwartzel and Zach Johnson all there at 7, and Abraham Answer right there at -6 through 14. One of the things we talk about a lot, Jamie, and I think it's very important for people to understand, is that when they go to scratchcaddy.com, you've got an incredible amount of information on there. And especially now when we're getting into, the spring, summer part of the season. Obviously, we just had the Masters, the PGA is coming up in a few weeks. Then, of course, the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. There's a lot of money to be made and a lot of value to be made, or a lot of value bets to be made based on the research and the information you provide your clients on scratchcaddy.com. And you just had mentioned Abraham Answer and the different kind of grass and the recent form. For those that are maybe tuning in for the first time, and I love betting golf, and I think there's, you get guys, Stuart Sink, you had him a few weeks back, or a month and a half or so back, at over 100 or something to 1, and then of course he won a few weeks ago at like 200 or 150 to 1. One of those guys can make your year and give you the profit chamber for an entire season. Tell the people kind of what goes into your selection process and what kind of information they can find on scratchcaddy.com.
Obviously, we always start off with the basics, course form and recent form. What I'll also do as well behind the scenes is I'll check out the last 3 or 5 winners, and I'll go really into depth into those winners and find out how their course form was before they won. How was their recent form before they won? And I'll also compare every single winner for other events. So if all of those 5 winners have played well at a certain event, I'm going to use that other event correlating course to try and find out, well, these guys have played well at this event before. They've already gone ahead and won here. So that's what we're looking for. With the Valspar, it was real interesting because of these last 5 winners, the 2 Paul cases as well in the 2 WGC stroke play events that are held in the US. There was the Bridgestone before, and then the FedEx, also WGC Mexico. They'd all had a top 10 there as well in one of those 2 events, which makes sense because, again, they're both played on tough tracks and they're both played on Bermuda grass greens. So, again, we put all of that form in there as well. And then, guys can go ahead and look and see what they like. You'll see there where it's got recent form there. Anything there with a miscut, I was sort of discounting this week. The previous 5 winners in their lead up to this event from the start of the calendar year from January, previous 5 winners and only had 3 miscuts between them before winning this event in that calendar year. So I was looking for guys who were nice and solid, nice and consistent, and that's basically what Abraham Amsa was. What is he, 23, 26th, and 18th in his last 3 events. He's played well in those WGCs as well, and he came 16th here a couple of years ago. So again, as I said, the price at 25 to 1 wasn't that good for somebody who's not won on tour, but sometimes you just got to go with the numbers and not really look at the odds that much.
Yep, no, and it's been a tried and true method for you. And you look at this right here, and you mentioned the 23, 26, 18, and the WGC form in the top 20s. It's all right there. It's all on ScratchCaddy.com, and it's really proven to be a big winner for you and all the clients you have for years now on ScratchCaddy.com. Great stuff from you, Jamie. We'll get back with you in just a moment, but let's get in Sealy McNeely, who, he is one of my, like Jamie is one of my all-time favorite people. But like I told you this earlier, you're like the physical embodiment of a sadist. You're like, you're having a great week. You're hitting like 80% of your games, and 100. Yet you're still, well, all right, fine, 100. And you're still sour because, I mean, I'm the same way. I always want to win. If I win, I won like a grand this one day, and then I lost $50. I was more mad about the 50 than happy about winning the 1,000. So I get it, and you're doing a hell of a job. And don't forget Jamie's website, by the way, ScratchCaddy.com, seals at Sportsedge.com. I'll throw that up in a second. But you're really kind of, and we talked about this in the last several weeks when it comes to baseball. It's tough early on, but you have been on target with totals, with first fives, with first 5 team totals. And I think that it's really kind of your groove is back, because it's not just for you, for anybody. Early baseball, especially with all the bad weather. I'm here in Detroit. You're in Philly. Jamie's in beautiful Costa Rica, thank God. So he's got good weather down there, except for the rain every couple hours a day. It's tough early in the season, but you still got through that and have done great. And now you're doing really good. This is where I think people that are involved with you, much like with Jamie, when he gets into his groove, is this big golf, swing in Florida and then leads to the majors. This is where a lot of money can be made. And this is where you do a great job for your peeps at sportshandicapper.com. And I just wanted you to tell people what is important as we move into May, my birthday month, by the way, and get closer. I know you're not enamored with the NBA right now, but the NBA playoffs should maybe have some fun to get into. But when it comes to baseball especially, what do you tell your people right now what's important and why, you're successful with what you do?
This is winning time between as soon as the weather starts to heat up a little bit until the All-Star break. That's when the ground it's fertile. That's when you hit them.
That's when it's fertile.
Yes, May, June, up until the All-Star break. That's my best months historically. So I mean, April's a little rough sometimes around the edges. You don't want to bury yourself too much in April, like you said with the weather. I mean, it's hard to handicap baseball in football weather. I mean, just like Jamie, it's hard to handicap golf in, I would imagine, windstorms and
right.
Bad weather. It's just, it adds variables to the table. So,
All right, can you do me a favor? Jamie's always super professional. Can you get yourself in frame? It's almost like it's Passover and we're leading back because it's the 4. It's one of the 4 questions. What is going on with you?
I'm just leaning back.
Yeah, lean back. Now, by the way, some really good news. I won't be specific because maybe you don't want it out there, but your daughter might be in a big commercial campaign. That's a pretty big deal.
It's big. She has to nail the audition tonight. She has a script she has to read, so we'll see.
Well,
I might have to stick my head in there a little bit.
You sent me a picture of her in full regal makeup the other day. Not that she needs it. And, your daughter looks like a model these days. So you got to be proud.
It's amazing what makeup can do for you. It's amazing. Like, if they made me up like that, they might be banging my doors down for
you. I think you'd probably look like Brad Pitt. If they put makeup on you, you look like Brad Pitt.
George Clooney, but whatever. I don't want to.
I want to throw up, before we look at the board for today, I wanted to throw up your fine website, Scratch. Well, I'm going to say ScratchCaddy.com again for Jamie, because please, we missed Jamie last week. SportsHandicapper.com. I know that you manage this, and you actually are in the back door on this website several times a day. You did all the programming, right? No, but you got, look at that. There's us and Sports Edge. You got a lot of good stuff on here and line moves, and I love the About Seal section. We played that video of the seal last week. I think we need to get some seal videos on here. But no, yeah, you're someone that's been doing this for people joining us for the first time for a long time. By the way, the kosher kids, they were the best at baseball. They asked us to move games. What are the kosher kids?
They're not around anymore.
Well, it's probably it's not the high.
They were in prime. They were good in their prime. They were very good.
It's not the high holidays. No, but you do a hell of a job, and I think that for people that are just joining us, and there's been many times on this show that we've talked about the seal where it's about not pressing the issue. There's certain days you pass. There's certain days you go heavy. There's certain days you go small. But you're always giving your clients and people that trust you winning formulas and winning potential. And I think that it's important that people understand. And we've said this, as I mentioned many times. You can have big picks on your own. You don't have to have someone making picks for you, whether it's Jamie or Seal or whoever it is. But you're not going to win the way you do if you do have someone like you. And I'll toot your horn as I've tooted Jamie's horn. This week you at one point you won 6-7 things in a row. Like you're not always going to win. It's anyone that says, "Oh, I win 92% of the time," it's all bullshit. But and obviously people that watch this show and our good friend, by the way, confirmed it, Starsky is going to be on in 2 weeks. Our legendary band leader, guys like Jamie, they really do profit, and you win a lot. And I think that it's important that people know they can do it on their own. That's fine. But if you want to consistently win, they've got to look to someone like you, because as you've said many times, the way you win in betting is a weak line or information, and you have both. You always have. Yep.
It's good to have both. It's hard to bet when you have zero, with neither of them. I'll tell you that.
Right.
So.
Well, and you're up, by the way, I got to give you credit. You're up at 4:35 in the morning. You're starting your prep. You gave, and we'll get to this in a second here. I want to throw up the live inspin.com lines, and we'll get back with JB. I got a haircut coming up, so we are a little shorter show today. But any amount of time with us being the nobleman is
it won't take long, the haircut.
No, but I think I look pretty good. I just need to trim it up. I'm going to Myrtle Beach for a little golf action. But you gave me you gave your peeps a play earlier today, and just for example, and I know we're not really in the NBA. Let's quickly just take a look at the NBA tonight. You got Atlanta and Philly, Washington, Cleveland, Spurs, Celtics, Magic, Grizzlies, Blazers at the Nets, the underman Nets, the Bucks at Bulls, Jazz at Suns, which is an interesting game because you got the Suns -4.5. I think the Jazz might be a play there on the money line. And then the Kings at the Lakers. LeBron is possibly coming back for the first time. Possibly. Well, first time in 20 games, right?
Yeah, it's also very nice of them that they brought him back. If he does play tonight, they brought him back into a very good team.
Oh, yeah, great team. A team that was so good that at one point they were down 74 to 35 the other night to the Jazz. They're great.
It's nothing like easing your way into a game. That's a perfect team to come back against the Kings.
Oh, the Kings are just brutal. Now, I wanted to throw these up here, and the game that you talked about with me earlier today was the Blue Jays, and they were at one point -112, -115. It's been anywhere between up to 126 and 134. At one point, I saw -138. That's the point that I'm making, that I'm trying to explain to people, is that you're on these things before the line moves. And there's been many times where games have pushed or would have lost if people waited, to post time or later in the day. That's an important factor, Seal. I think it's really important people understand that you're getting this out there, and that's how you win. You're getting it out there early.
Yeah, well, for instance, in basketball, you missed the number. It's difference of winning and losing. In baseball, the pennies add up. You're talking about 3, 4, maybe 5 bets a day, every day for a whole summer. So if you say, God forbid, if Toronto loses tonight, and I know I laid 09, and you laid 11 cents. The game's probably going to close to 30. Even if they lose, you're saving 20. You're going to save probably 20 cents on the loss. That adds up a lot in baseball season over the course of a season.
It sure does.
Would you rather lose $109 for 100 or $130 for 100?
Yep, and that adds up to, could be thousands of dollars throughout the year if you don't get on things.
Yes.
Before, we'll get back with you in a second. I want to bring Jamie back in, and then we'll talk about some nibbles for you tonight. JB, the king of the world. Don't forget JB's website, scratchcaddy.com. JB, as we look at the end of the second round today and the weekend, and then obviously looking forward in the next several weeks, and of course the PGA, which I know you're already looking at. What are you excited about? What are you looking into as we really get full swing into golf season?
Well, no, yeah, exactly. We're going to be looking at these guys, the top golfers in the world. DeChambeau's not played for a while. I'm going to look forward to seeing him next week, I think, at the Wells Fargo. And again, obviously, the USPGA up in a couple of weeks. Longest major course in history, 7,800 yards. I'll be doing a whole big spread on that as well with all of the guys who play better on the longer course. I'll have all of the stats there for that. The one thing that we do on the site is the information that we do publish. It's tough to get a hold of that. I've got a lot of these things already plugged in, so it's just a case of sort of cutting and pasting and bringing all that information. But if you're trying to look at a tournament from the start and you want to try and find all that information, it's a real pain in the ass to sort of go around PGA Tour and other websites to try and get all of that information. So yeah, I mean, whether you want the picks or not, at least look at the information, look at the numbers there, because trying to find it on your own, you're not going to be able to cover the field as quickly as you can from the information that I've got on my site.
Yeah, Jamie, that's such a great point, and I can't give you enough credit. I think it's important to say this, and I say it often on this show. The amount of research you do, the amount of things you've been able to formulate, and the systems you use, and of course, as you see here on the website, the event stats over the years is really a testament to just how incredible of a job you do. And I think it's really important that people understand that, like you said, they can go around and try to find PGA Tour stats and this and, strokes gained, putting. To have it all in one place, to have all the recent form, to have all the different things you look at, the color coordination that people can see here, I give you a lot of kudos, man, because this is, once again, this is why, and I mentioned this with Seal and I mentioned this with you, this is why people like you two have been so successful for so long, because you do things the right way. You don't cut corners. I think it's important that people that are out there watching know that, and that's why they need to get involved with someone like you. I mean, obviously, I want them to get involved with you specifically, but they need to get involved with somebody that knows what they're doing like you do. And Jamie, I got a lot of respect for the years you put into this. You really, I know at first, as you mentioned, it wasn't easy, but you've come to understand what it takes to put it together, and that's kudos to you, Jamie.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, in this day and age where you get stats and numbers thrown at you constantly, you've got to know which ones to look at, which ones not to look at. I mean, the big thing nowadays, all you hear about is this strokes gained all the time. So I've actually got a report that I'm in the process of doing right now that's based on the whole year so far. And I'll basically look at the top 10 from the previous week in strokes gained driving, strokes gained approach to the green, strokes gained around the green, and strokes gained putting. And then I'll look at those, how they compared last week to what their result is the following week. And you know what? Some of it's good stuff. Some of it is not useful at all, but people get sort of sucked into looking at these numbers all the time. The one number actually that I do look at right now, and I've noticed that this year, is whenever the strokes gained on approach is over 7 for the tournament, 50% of the time the players playing the following week have a top 5 finish. So there's only been like 8 or 9 players that have had strokes gained of 7+ in the tournament the week before, but 50% of those have had a top 5 finish the week after. So that's one of the things that I sort of look at as well, and I'll be introducing all of those databases as well throughout the course of the season. These are the numbers that I find most important to me, so as I can see as to these are the numbers that I think will give us the best idea as to who's going to play well and who you can sort of dismiss for this upcoming tournament. Strokes gained putting. You have strokes gained putting in the Masters on huge bent grass green. It doesn't really make any difference because the following week was inherited small Bermuda grass greens. So it really doesn't pay to look at that.
All right, JB. As always, I'm just blown away by all the great information. Look forward to some great stuff coming up, especially the PGA. Thank you as always. We'll get out of here in 1 second. Let's get back with Seal, though. All right, Seal, we throw up the Major League Baseball lines for tonight. Are we nibbling on anything else when it comes to MLB? Obviously, a full slate of games everyone's playing, unless there's any weather issues tonight on Friday.
Let's take a look at the Yankees game. Your Tigers are the biggest dog this year so far.
Yeah, it wasn't the Yankees minus 370, I think.
No, it's 400 now.
Oh my God! Now, am I? We have all these wacky, and I don't do these often because they're mainly losers. But I thought this was a fun one that these legal sports books here in the States and in Michigan and in Pennsylvania, etc. They had a boost today, 2 or more runs in the first inning combined by both teams, and I took it because I think the Yankees are going to score 5 runs in the first inning. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. The Detroit pitcher, first time through the lineup, he should be okay. After
no, Scuba's one of our young, I'm a Detroit guy.
Okay, he's not.
But I'm feeling some runs in the first inning. I just need 2. Just give me 2 runs.
I don't know. I'll tell you one. Well, the Yankees better score him because your Tigers, I don't like their chances against Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I don't either. Cole hasn't been incredible. The Yankees stink. But I think you're right. I think it's got to be the Yankees scoring a couple runs, or maybe I get lucky and the Tigers score 1 and the Yankees score 1. But you're right. It's probably not going to be against.
If the Tigers score 1, the guy closing his eyes and connecting by accident to the porch.
Hey, maybe he can still bang the long ball. He's got back in his. He's getting close to 500 home runs. 81% of the money, by the way, on the Yankees minus 401. Here's the inspin.com live on. So are you saying make a play on the run line? Obviously, you don't want to lay the 401, right?
I wouldn't bet that. I don't like 400 on anything. Let alone
I don't like 300 on anything.
Let alone the Yankees that don't have to hit anybody.
Well, you know what? I do remember. You'll love this. I remember this. It was JV's first year in Houston. The Tigers were not good. They haven't been good in 3-4 years now since Jim Leland and then part of the Brad Auspis era. Of course, they ended up getting fired. They went into Houston, and I don't think they swept the series. I know they won the series, but the game against JV, they were plus 320. I want to say it was in July or August. It wasn't like a late season game where the Astros needed to win to make the playoffs or win the division, and the Tigers won. I think it was their first game against JV, and they were plus 300 more, and they won. So if you're going to make I don't think you're saying to do this, but when you see a $400 line in April, I think you just put a couple bucks on the other team because that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's a little early for 400, put it that way.
400. You see that in hockey sometimes late in the season. It's ridiculous. Actually, the Red Wings, another one of my great teams that were good forever. But last year they were multiple times plus $300, like against Tampa Bay and some other teams, Boston in the regular season, not towards the end of the year. That was insane. They won a couple of those games, but most of those games they were huge dogs, and they obviously got rocked by 3, 4, 5 goals. Any other nibbles tonight? One game I wanted to throw to you that was interesting to me was that White Sox-Indians game. Bieber, of course, the ace for the Indians, minus 139 on the road in Chicago. The White Sox just beat up on the Tigers, obviously. I think the combined score was 10-0 in the 2 doubleheaders yesterday. The one makeup game from Wednesday when it got rained out. Any feel about the White Sox at home getting some decent value with Keuchel on the mound plus 129?
I would lean to the White Sox. I actually do lean to the White Sox. They got some decent numbers against Bieber. They've hit him a little bit. As well as anyone in the league, put it that way. White Sox or nothing for me in that game.
All right, I love it. Listen,
Bieber threw a lot of I think his career high in pitches. I think he threw 117 or 119 his last start against the Yankees.
Well, I know you're a big Justin Bieber guy, and Shane Bieber's his brother. I'm kidding.
Yes.
All right. Once again, an incredible job by both of you. Jamie, don't forget his picks at scratchcaddy.com. Seal's incredible picks at sportshandicapper.com. Seal, let's go Abraham answer. Maybe a miracle from Corey Connors. Sealy McNeely, maybe the White Sox tonight, the Blue Jays. Both of you, great job as always. Please, once again, check out sportshandicapper.com, scratchcaddy.com. This has been the Sports Edge powered by inspin.com. Seal, wish Livers and Onions, your fine daughter, some good luck for the commercial. Jamie, keep tending those sheep and winning those golf bets. Love you both. Until next time, we shall see you.
I lost a very big fish last week.
You didn't feed him, did you?
Nah, bacterial infection. It was about this big.
Oh, poor Seal.
Jamie, we got to come over here and whack him.
Oh, no. Can we hold a funeral for him next week?
He's already whacked. The guy karate chopped him in his truck.
Thanks for that vision of my end. All right, we'll leave on that very positive note. We love you all. Wear a mask. Spread love, not hate. We'll see you next time on the inspin.com Sports Edge Cavalcade of Whimsy. For Seal, for Jamie, I'm Dan Leach, the Squatch. See you next time. Love you. Believe in the dream. Peace.